Hi everybody, this is Jonna with JB Photography, and today I'd like to show you how to do a few basic touch-ups on skin and also how to add texture. Now this photo is brought to you by JC Brilliant. I hope I said your name right. If not, I do apologize. And this was done for a photography challenge. So the first thing that I did was I opened up the image. Now this is going to come up as a raw file. Now normally when I edit my regular pictures, I will do this in Lightroom first, but for this purpose, since I only had one photo, I went ahead and did it in Photoshop. So I did a few little tweaks here and there, and kind of messed with the temperature. Then I went ahead and I opened my image. So as you can see, this was the original file, and then this is the edit that I did. So one of the first things that I noticed was when I zoomed in, there's some glare on the face, which this happens to me all the time, especially working outdoors. So I kind of wanted to clean that up a little bit. So one of the ways that I like to do this is I will grab my clone stamp tool over here, and I'll set the size to appropriate level. And sometimes it just kind of depends on the photo. I'll turn down the strength just a bit. So I'm going to hit my control click, and then I'm just going to kind of start painting over it a little bit. And sometimes you have to kind of control click a couple times just so that you're blending it well. Now if you kind of notice, he still has kind of a lighter spot here. So I'll take my heel brush, I'll kind of go back, and we're also, as we're doing this, we're going to touch up a few of the skin issues here. Now I'm not really 100% happy with that because I still feel like there's a glare there. So I'm going to go back up that just a little bit, keep my strength down, push it down a little bit farther. And I'm just going to kind of darken it just a bit. Okay. So it looks a little better, but we still want to go ahead and blend just a little bit. A lot of this is just covering and blending. Okay. So then I think that looks okay. Not too bad. So then on the cheeks, I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to turn this down just a bit, the size of the brush. And then we're just going to paint over it there. So now this one turned out a little bit darker, but if I do a little bit of spot healing, it actually blends pretty good. See, and again, sometimes you just have to kind of play around with it and get what works. See, and I notice that this here is still a little I want to almost say unnatural a little bit. So I'm going to try to touch up a little bit more. See, I think we've lost a little bit of texture. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go back over it, but I want to turn it down just a little. As you can see, this is kind of a slow process at times. There we go. I think that looks a little better. So then what I did for this photo then at this point is I have a lot of coffee shop blog free actions. Sorry, I think of my words there. So I'm going to take one of those and we're going to do, I gotta just find it here. It is flawless or skin so smooth. So we're going to run that action and just hit play. It's going to run through everything. And depending on the action, it could take a little bit of time. Okay, so it's going to automatically create a clipping mask for you. Click continue. Make sure that you are selected. As you see here, it's blue highlighted. So you're going to go to your brush, make sure it's on white, come to the skin. Now as you notice in a lot of these skin smoothings, it's going to be very extreme. And you know, unless you're wanting it that extreme, typically I don't. Now what I do, other people may do this differently by making their brush a little lighter. Personally, I do it this way. I find it a little easier to see. And then I come over here and I change the strength down a little bit. Okay, so since that's done, I flatten the image and I go to my texture, which I already had open, and I'm going to drag it. Now for this one, because of the way I liked the photo, I put this on a soft light, and because of the way I like the glow it made, I really didn't see a reason to mask off. Now if you wanted to mask off, you can. Now to do this, you're going to click on your texture, go to layer, layer mask, and you can either reveal all or hide all. So if I wanted to, I go reveal all, go back over here, change your brush color to black, and then you can, as you can see here as it's painting here, and I'll zoom in a little bit more, it's masking off or taking off the texture. But as you kind of notice, doing so in this case, I just don't think it gives it the, I don't know, the full effect. So that's why I went ahead and just kept it as it is. So as you can see, it's a pretty simple process. A lot of it with this is trial and error. So there are times when you're going to have to just kind of play around with it. If I can get my picture to go where I want it to. There we go. And, you know, just kind of play around with it a little bit. Blending is a big key. I always find that spot healing is great for that, but I always start out with my clone stamp tool first. So it's not quite the same as what I did for the editing challenge. It's a little bit lighter, but you can see it's fairly close, and that gives you a good general idea, at least in the face. And actually it looks like I did a little better job this time around getting the glare out. So if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. I'm always here to help. Have a great night.